Okay, so I didn't page over. Question 7 has got 2 more questions that we need to look at. So let's see what they're asking us. They're saying, use the graphs now. These are the graphs that we've sketched. Remember, we had to sketch the sign of x minus 30 on that graph. Okay, so it says use that graph. Let me just take care of that. There we go, that's better. Use that graph over there to determine the values of x over that domain for which f of x is positive. Now remember, this is G and the blue one is f. What does this mean? It means the y values on the f is positive. Where does that happen? It happens above the x-axis. That's what you're thinking. Okay, so that's where we're going to look for our answer. Where does that graph go above the x-axis? Well, here it's below, it's negative, there it's positive, and it's from 30 to 90 degrees. So I'm going to say, okay, x, it's a strict function, it cannot equal naught. So it's bigger than 30 degrees, and it can equal this value. It's not naught, so less than equal to 90 degrees. In interval notation, you would have written this as x is an element from the open closed set. Now, if you use interval notation, make your brackets proper so we can read them round and square. 30 degrees, this means it excludes 30, and it goes to 90, and it includes 90. I like this notation because I can play with that idea here. Sometimes when I'm working too quickly, my square brackets appear round. Okay, so let's see. The next one, that's for 1 mark. G times F is positive. So a product is positive if I have a positive times a positive. Sorry, it's negative in this case. So positive times a negative. Let me do that properly. Or a negative times by a positive. What does that mean about the graph? It means the one is above while the other one is below. The one is above while the other one is below, or the one is below while the other one is above. So they're on opposite sides of the x-axis. Now here they're on the same side. You can see negative, negative, negative up to there. Then it goes positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. So it looks like it's everything above 30. Now let's just see. It's not allowed to be 0. Okay? So I cannot include the points where it crosses the x-axis. So I can say, oh, okay, x is strictly bigger than minus 30, but x can also not be 30 degrees, or x can also not be 90 degrees, because that will exclude the other 2 points where indeed it is 0. Now that's given it in this form. If I ask you to give your answer in interval notation, you will say the following. You will say, well, from minus 30 to 30, so x is an element of the open interval minus 30 to 30, because it excludes the points where it's 0, where these things are 0. Okay, combined then with going above 30 to 90, both open because it excludes those 2 points. Okay, so you've got a choice here, but whatever one you use, you're going to be marked on the points that you excluded here. Okay, so the interpretation again is, where are they on opposite side of the axes? The last question, determine the range of h of x plus twice f of x plus 1. Which is, twice f of x plus 1. Now, f of x is the sine function. If we double it up, the sine function here, 2f of x, this is what you're going to think. Again, I'm going to write what you're going to think in green. Normal f of x has a range from minus 1 to 1. The normal sine x minus 30 curve. Runs from -1 to a maximum of 1. But now remember, we're on this, oh no, we're saying that we can go from minus 360 to 360. Okay, so the range between 1 and -1. If I double it up, twice of f of x will then have a range from -2 to 2, because what does that do? It stretches the graph vertically. And then I move the graph up 1. So finally, h of x will have a range of -2 plus 1, and it will go from up to 2 plus 1. So what do? I just add the 1 to both of these. So that will be finally a range of -1 to 3. So what did I do? I did this through transformation geometry. I transformed the graph step by step. Be careful, it's just for 2 marks, but that will make the difference between a distinction and a non-distinction, or 100 and not 100 for this question. Okay folks, I hope that helped you.